I thought the onesie was to put on our dog. And I said that. And then we put it on the dog and it fit perfectly. Like, it made sense where my mind was.
Well, I lost my mucus plug, which like TMI, but like I lost my mucus plug at 9 a.m.
Oh, we're talking birth story. We're getting
We are
into it
talking
today.
there's no TMI.
Yes.
TMI is not part of this. I didn't expect for that question to make me tear up. This episode is a really special one. It's in honor of my daughter Josie's first birthday, which, as of this recording, is next week. As you're hearing this, it was yesterday. It's been a full year since she came into our world and just completely changed it. I wanted to record this episode not to just share my birth story, but to bring some light and hope to other women, because we hear so many horror stories about pregnancy, labor, and delivery. But my experience was a positive one. It wasn't perfect, but it was empowering, it was peaceful, and proof that birth can be beautiful. So today I'm answering Ellie's questions about Josie's birth, what the first year of motherhood has looked like, how I've adjusted, what I've learned through it all, introducing solids, emotional side of becoming a mom, like all of the things. So my hope with this episode is that it reminds you that your story doesn't have to be defined by fear. It can be shaped by strength, grace, and a lot of love.
All right, so before we hop into the birth story, I just want to give everyone a little update on the fast so that this podcast is remotely about me a little bit. The fast is all finished. I'm back to eating my normally scheduled foods, even though I do not say to do this for any kind of weight loss. I want to share my results with how inflammation changed throughout, and I saw a lot of that through weight, but I also saw other factors, so I'll talk about both. So through weight, from this morning, so yesterday I had a fully normal eating day. That was my first fully normal eating day. So this morning after that, from the morning I started the fast, I am down like 7 pounds. My fingers are normal again. I feel normal again. I have better energy. I don't feel swollen around my neck anymore. And I just feel more like myself. So I highly recommend a water fast for like a reset cleanse. Don't do it for weight loss unless you're doing like an intermittent fasting. But just wanted to share my results for everyone because I kind of left on a little bit of a cliffhanger because I was very low energy and cold last podcast. So I'm still cold, but so much more energy.
All right, so as of this recording, it is 6 days until Josie turns 1. Like, we were not expecting her until Thanksgiving last year. And she was like, hey guys, I'm coming. And like, if you know anything about me, I am such a planner. And like, when I tell you, I was just like grinding at the end of my pregnancy to like fit all of the things in, expecting that like, I honestly thought that I was going to go overdue with her. So I thought that I had plenty of time. When I tell you I planned up until November 3rd, I had like one more like work thing to do. I was actually sitting as a vendor at a bridal expo in Allentown, Pennsylvania on November 3rd. I went into labor the next morning at 9 a.m. And so I think Josie just like knew that that's all I had planned for. And she was like, okay, mom, like I'll fill in that space for you. Like, I'm just going to come early.
You went into labor the next morning at 9 a.m. on November 4th? Or I thought it was
pretty much
the evening of November 4th.
Well, I lost my mucus plug, which like TMI, but like I lost my mucus plug at 9 a.m.
Oh, we're talking birth story. We're getting into it today.
There's no TMI.
Yes.
TMI is not part of this. But yeah, lost my mucus plug at 9 a.m. that next morning. And then my water broke at 5 p.m. that evening. Okay. So technically, like, the mucus plug was kind of the start, but like it doesn't always indicate the start of labor, because I had to Google it. I was like, what does this mean? And it was like, well, it could be hours, could be days, could be weeks. We don't really know. So I was like, okay, cool. I've got time. I don't need to worry about anything. And I just went along with my day. I did take a nap. I remember taking a nap, curled up with the cat.
But you don't nap, so that's kind of a weird.
I napped a lot in the third trimester.
Did
I
you?
did. I needed to. So,
Okay, so how
yeah.
this episode is going to work today is it's going to be kind of a Q&A situation. The only thing is I have the questions. So,
And I don't know what the questions are.
exactly. So, I'm very excited for this. So, let's just start out with the first question. So, when did you realize, oh wow, this is actually happening? Was it a movie moment or total chaos?
I want to say it was neither. Because it's not what you see in the movies, but it's also, it wasn't chaotic. In all reality, I was simply standing up to cut a butternut squash for dinner when it happened. Like, I had just placed an order on Lowe's to finish our closet from our remodel. I stood up and it started going. And I was like, I know I just peed. Like, that's weird. And I've never peed myself like this.
Yeah.
And then I went to the bathroom, sat down, like nothing happened. Well, as soon as I got up and walked out of the bathroom, more came out. And I was like, all right. Went back to the toilet, grabbed a pad, sat on the toilet, nothing happened. So I was like, okay, should be good. Walked out of the bathroom, immediately soaked the pad. I was like,
Like, what's
that
happening?
happened 3 times.
Yeah.
That happened 3 times. And thank God my mom was a labor and delivery nurse. So I was like, Mom, and she was at my house. Like, it could not have been any more perfect timing. So mom comes to the bathroom. I tell her what's happening. She looks at me as if like, girl, it's happening. You're having this baby. And I'm like, I wasn't ready. But that's really how it happened. I was just a simple, I was getting ready for dinner.
Okay. So, did you have a playlist going? And if so, what was playing when Josie like made her debut? Or did you guys just have silence? What was the vibes in the room?
You know, it's crazy. I saw and I went through so much like birth prep where like I thought about having a playlist. I brought a speaker. Did I use it? No.
No.
I'm pretty sure there was silence in the room when Josie was being born because I didn't pick a playlist. I didn't say, like, hey, make sure there's music on, which honestly, for some reason, never crossed my mind. I guess I just liked, I think the TV was on, so like it wasn't absolute silence. No idea what was on, but the TV was on, I believe, at some point. And yeah, she just came out to silence, I believe.
Very nice. What was one thing you thought would be terrifying that actually turned out kind of beautiful?
I would say Josie's exit.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Which I think my husband could beg to differ on the beauty of the actual physical what he saw in front of his face because he was like down there.
Mm.
He saw her exit. So me not seeing the exit, I say that's beautiful because like my body just naturally got her out.
Yeah.
Like I was my body was ready to push. My body was pushing. Everyone was yelling at me, stop pushing, stop pushing. And I'm like, I'm not pushing. Like I can't control this.
Yeah.
And it was like just so neat how obviously my body's never done this before, but it just knew exactly what to do. And I think that's the beautiful part of it is like it knew how to get the baby out. It was pushing when it was ready, regardless of what everyone in the room was telling me to do. Like their concern is that my cervix was going to swell. It was going to cause complications for her to come out of my birth canal.
Mhm.
And I mean, my body was just like, this is what we're doing. And sure enough, they checked me. I was 10 centimeters. And then we immediately started intentionally pushing.
So what's
But yeah,
the difference? This isn't one of the questions, but just out of curiosity, what's the difference between the intentional pushing and then your body just doing the pushing itself?
well, like involuntary, when I was contracting, like my abdominals, like I wouldn't say it like looked any certain way, but at this point, like we had lost her heart rate, which means she had just dropped farther into my birth canal, into the cervix area. So we had lost her heart rate. So I'm literally flip flopping on the bed, like just trying to get her in a position where we could catch her on the monitor, make sure that her heart rate was all right. And I had ended up on my hands and knees on the bed.
Mhm.
Like the back was raised a little bit, and that's just like where I felt comfortable. We got her heart rate back, but my body was still like every time I would contract, I was just like, and I shouldn't have done this, but I was like holding my breath, kind of bearing down. Like I was just allowing my body to do it involuntarily. But then when I was intentionally pushing, and I don't know where the heck my labor nurse was, like my mom was the one coaching me through it, which thank God she was there, or I would have had a totally different experience.
Mhm.
Um, but she was like counting, it was like a countdown from 10, and I would just bear down and push for those 10 seconds and then breathe, breathe, count down for that 10 seconds again. I think it was 10 seconds. I don't know. I don't remember. We were counting down. I don't know how many numbers are counted.
Now, during those breathing portions, were you still like in pain or anything like that? Or was it a bit of a break? What does that in between breathing look like?
So for me, I went in saying I did not want an epidural. I don't know if it was because I just thought I was a strong girl. I really don't feel like I have a high pain tolerance. Like I'm pretty much a sissy when it comes to that stuff. So me saying I didn't want an epidural was kind of scary for me. But I had done so much prep. I had learned so many things that like I realized it was a lot of mindset, it was a lot of breathing. And if I could control that and have my support team help remind me of those things, that it would be a lot better and more manageable. However, my nursing staff kind of put it in my head that I would be laboring for a long time. So when I had checked in, it was about their shift change at night. So when I had checked in, they were like, "Oh, you're going to be in great hands in the morning," which is another 12 hours. So in my head, I'm like, I'm going to be laboring for more than 12 hours. Like, that's awful. So at one point, my contractions got so bad. I was like, oh, yeah, that epidural, let's talk about that now.
Mhm.
And they were like, well, we have some other options. We have, it was like, I don't know if they have like laughing gas that sometimes is used. I don't know if they offered that, but they offered like the IV pain meds, which I really don't know what they were, but they helped for a little bit, which allowed me to get some rest, which I think I needed to get to the pushing part, or else I just would have been exhausted and not able to push. So my pain at that point was coming back, but I will say like during the actual like labor of it, like I could feel it. But to say that I remember the pain of the actual pushing and her coming out, like I don't. It's the pain before that that I remember more than anything.
What was that pain like, and where was it kind of like in your body?
That pain was definitely abdominally, like if you could imagine your most awful period cramps, like ovary period cramps, lower
Mhm.
back period cramps, that's where I was feeling it. And when I say like, I think I spent my whole labor when I got to the hospital in bed, like my eyes were closed and I was just like doing this,
Yeah.
trying to like manage the pain. Like, I don't know why the swaying helped. I truly felt like my vision was blurry. And maybe that's because my eyes were closed for so long, like the lights were kind of dim. So when I opened them, I was like, I can't see anything. Might as well keep them closed. And like when the contractions would come, I would just kind of like inhale as much as I could because I knew once that contraction, like my abdominals were going to contract, like I wasn't going to have that lung capacity.
Mhm.
And at one point, I believe I was contracting for, it was something crazy. I think it was like every minute and a half I was contracting for a minute. So it'd be like a minute of a contraction, 30-second break, a minute of contraction, 30-second break. And like I was struggling.
Now, was a contraction for you, was it like a full-on sharp pain the entire time? Was it like a wave, or what did they look like?
I felt like it was definitely like a ramp up, but it would like get to that climax and then it would like come back down and then be like, okay, I can breathe again. And then it would like slowly come on. I would say the process was more of like a wave.
Okay, very nice. Now, what is something that no one warned you about, but that you wish they had, or maybe wish they hadn't?
During the delivery process,
Yes.
that's a hard one because I did educate myself so much for the process. I think maybe what I wish someone would have told me was like, you should also educate yourself about the after. because I was so focused on okay, what's going to happen? What am I going to experience? What are my options? This, that, and the other thing that, like, beyond her coming out, I didn't have as much knowledge, like, about what they were going to offer her as far as, like, medications or injections or whatever it was. Like, I didn't put enough thought and research into the after she came out.
Gotcha. Like vaccine wise and things like that.
Vaccine wise, I know they do vitamin K. They do, I can't remember the ointment they put on their eyes. I can't remember what it's called right now, but that was like the main thing. I think it was vitamin K, the eye ointment, and then something else.
Hep B.
Probably Hep B. And at that point, I'm like looking at my husband like, I don't know, what should we do?
But now knowing everything you do know, what would you go back and change about that?
Truthfully, I probably wouldn't have done any of it.
Okay.
And I will say, like, just my experience, like, I will not say that I'm like anti-vaccine. Like, I'm fully vaccinated, and I don't know what any algorithm is going to do about our episode talking about vaccines. Like, so be it. But this is just kind of my experience, what I've looked into. Like, I'm not pro or against anything. I think our medicine can be very helpful. Like, there's a reason God put these intelligent people on our earth to help protect us from disease that has just kind of come into our society. But when it comes to babies, like, I truly don't think that they need these things, especially Hep B. Like, Hep B is something really only transferred through blood or like sexual occurrences. Like, my baby is not going to be doing those things.
And
So
you are tested for Hep B, and you
I
are the
was
only
also,
person she would get it from at that point.
and I was negative.
Exactly.
So learning that afterward, I was kind of like kicking myself for giving that to her. But I think we did do the vitamin K shot, but we did not do the eye ointment. So we did not do the eye ointment. We did not do anything else in the hospital. We waited until her 1 day appointment, which, ooh, 1 day, to do the Hep B. But then since we had already done that, we just like continued to do the full, like, it was a series. I think it was a 3 series for that shot.
Okay. Now, how this is kind of like the big question. Not my last question, but the big question. How did you feel in the moment when you first met Josie? And was it like magic, disbelief, exhaustion, relief because it was over? What was the vibes?
I didn't expect for that question to make me tear up.
Oh, take a moment. Take a
I
moment.
don't know. I don't know what I had expected before that moment, but I think the best part is that we didn't know she was a she.
Hmm.
So the total surprise that I had a daughter was like the best.
Yeah.
I truthfully, I had convinced myself I was having a boy. Not that I wouldn't have been happy with a boy,
Yes, of course.
but I was really, really hoping we were having a girl
Yeah.
because we chose to not find out, which I think was one of the coolest things because it's like one last surprise. And that's exactly what it was. She's laying on my chest, literally screaming her head off, with which I think is just like her.
I say so on
She's so
par for her.
dramatic. She's so dramatic. I should have known from that moment that she was just gonna be a drama queen.
Literally.
Um, because she's like just wailing, and the baby doc or the baby nurse was like, "You're supposed to like this. What are you doing?" And she's just absolutely screaming, and it was just pretty cool. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, that it was at that moment, it's like, we made it. We're here. The pain is over. Like, there's gonna be new challenges, but the at least physical pain of like getting you out of me is over. I don't have to worry anymore. And we're both healthy, we're both safe. Like, I think it was just like a breath of fresh air.
I really enjoy that you guys did not find out. No, I actually hated it. But I think it's so funny that me and Kaylin joke all the time. Like everyone thought she was having a boy. Like there was like almost no question from people. Like I was like buying clothes for like that looked like it was for boys because everything gender neutral in my opinion looks like it's for a little boy.
Absolutely, because anything girl is purple or pink.
Yes, exactly. And Josie wears a lot of purple and pink.
She
She
does.
does. But
Because she can't wear blue or we think that she's a boy. People think she's a boy.
I know because her little hair isn't growing too well. But the craziest part is, and I'm gonna make it about me for a second. The craziest part is I texted
I know what you're
Kaylin.
going to say.
Yes, I texted Kaylin that night. Well, actually, was it the morning or did I text you? When did I text you?
I was going to say, I should also make note that I did not tell anyone the gender of her until they came to meet her. It was like, okay, what do you think it is?
Yeah.
So I had delivered her officially at 2:19 a.m. And I believe Ellie had texted me when she woke up.
Okay. So I was texting Kaylin and we talked a little bit before I sent this text message, but I sent this text message. I did not know by any means. I thought it was a boy up until the time. I sent this text message at 6:23. The first
Yeah.
one I sent was at 6:22. I said it is a girl. And at 6:23 I said maybe this is just a weird coincidence, but I literally saw the name Josie like written down in my dream last night. Maybe I was just thinking about it before I went to bed, but I woke up so weirded out. Now,
So I have to go back because you said, is it a girl?
oh, sorry, is it a girl?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Is it a girl? Because I had this dream.
so how did you feel when you received that text message when I woke up the next day?
I probably smiled because my response to that was, I'm not telling.
I know. You're so rude.
Um, yeah, and then I completely just ignored you. You probably called me and we were talking a little bit,
Don't even
but
I don't think so. I literally didn't see Josie until I saw her in person.
right. But I think you had called me
Okay.
after we had just texted. And then there was like nurses and stuff coming in, so I had hung up. Um, what was your question? How did I feel?
Yeah, how did you feel? Like what was like were you like, "Oh my God." I was like, "Oh my God," because I was up to the day I was like, "It is a boy." Like you cannot convince me it is a girl like I didn't even and that night and I wish I knew what time I had
I do
that
too.
dream, but literally that night I can still see it clear as day. I saw the name Josie like written on a chalkboard. Like I saw it. Oh,
And that's so random because like when would you
no, literally.
be around a chalkboard?
So I knew shut up. So I knew the names. I knew what it was going to be if it was a girl. I knew what it was going to be if it was a boy. So like I just didn't know if I was thinking about it when I went to bed, but I didn't see the boy name. I saw the girl name. I saw Josie clear as
Right.
day. So what was your vibes when you got that message?
I thought perhaps you might be psychic,
And I've been
but I couldn't
saying
tell you
this.
that because I couldn't tell you it was a girl.
Were you like, "Oh my God, she is psychic."
That weird sixth sense,
I
it's coming
I
through.
know. I know. No, I still think that's so cool though. Because obviously, as you all know, we are not blood related in any way. But the connection I feel to this child, it is like my own.
Right. And I think it's because like that's what you chose. Like we
Mhm.
choose to act as if we are blood sisters. Like it's not like we have any weird like, oh, you're not my blood. It's we just choose to act that way and whatever we believe our actions are going to align with that. So it's like first of all, she's going to know no different. Like
No.
she's not even going to understand the concept of like what do you mean you're not like sisters? You're sisters.
Yeah.
So like that concept isn't even going to be anything, and I think that's something that you had brought up like with Mimi, like that is her Mimi. She's not
Mm-hmm.
going to know anything other than that's her Mimi. Like, she just has so many grandparents that love her. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
what she's going to know. And she's probably going to be like, why do I have so many Grammys and Mimis and Pappies and Papas and all the things? But,
Which I totally get that vibe because growing up, my grandpa, he is technically my step grandpa. I swear I didn't learn that until I was like 12, which is
mhm,
probably sooner than that. But I just always knew like that is my grandpa. Growing up, I knew no different. Like you could have asked
mhm,
me at like 6 and I would have been like, that is my dad's dad. And it's very clearly not, but like and my dad always acted like that was his dad, which it is his dad, obviously. That's how it works in our family is blood does not matter. And I think
mhm,
when you're just family for so long, you forget. You forget that you're not even actually blood related. So Josie is literally never gonna know the difference.
mhm.
The only time
No.
it comes in
And when
handy is like I don't know, like when you were younger, you always had a lot of like skin issues and you have like all that kind of stuff. And I was like, don't got that. That's not my blood.
that eczema,
No, you had eczema so bad. And I just
the
didn't
eczema,
understand.
I'm gonna spill all my tea. Like the eczema, the acne, like the plantar warts. Like,
Hmm.
why? We had the same shower and you were just like not even playing with any of those things.
I know, because that's not my blood.
Nope.
But other than that, we don't tell people that we're not like actually full blood sisters. The only time I like do tell people is when it like gets to that point in the conversation. But
Right, like when it needs like a little explanation.
yeah, like when I tell people
But
our
other
age
than that,
difference and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like that's actually really close in age."
oh,
And I'm
your
like,
mom.
"Yeah, exactly." And I'm like, "No, no, no. It's not that crazy."
I
But
actually did have that conversation with someone once, and the mom that I was talking to physically had, I think their daughters, it was like a year and 2 months maybe. And I
okay.
was like, oh, see, my sister and I are a year and 3 months apart, but
Yeah.
not from the same mom.
Yeah, not from the same mom. But no, I'm so happy for Josie that she's just gonna have all these grandparents that love her so much and all this family that loves her so much. And one day she'll figure out that they're not actually family. Well, they are actually family, but they're not actually blood related, and that's still okay, and that's fun. Okay.
I think that's the coolest thing because, like I said, and kind of like what dad was saying when he officiated your wedding, is like it's even cooler that way because it is a choice.
Yeah.
Like it's not defined by blood where it's like, oh, you have to. It's like, I get to, I choose
Oh
to.
yeah. You choose you choose to put those people so high up in your life, whereas like you feel almost you have to put blood relatives up on this pedestal, but these people, you're actually choosing to put them up on this pedestal, which is really cool. But what did giving birth teach you about yourself?
That I'm a bad biatch.
Whoop.
I felt a little bit that way when we actually made it all the way through without the epidural. I'm not gonna lie. I was
Yeah.
like, heck yeah, we did it. Even though I almost caved. Like, I think I always believe that everything happens for a reason. And I do believe in like divine timing and like God's timing with everything. And like he was definitely there through that because he knew I didn't want an epidural. He knew I was getting to the point where I physically was not able, and he knows that I was able. I mentally thought that I was unable to continue that way. But the timing of they were about to check me. They were checking me for the epidural when I was continuing to involuntarily push. And
I believe you did order it, correct or no? And it just did not arrive in
yes,
time.
yes, because we told my nurse, I don't know, was waiting to put some paperwork through for whatever reason.
She was
I
probably
don't know.
holding off just to like, because you said you did not want it. Maybe she was being a little
Maybe so,
sluggish
but
with
like
it. But like, also don't do
she
that.
was just she was just not on top of anything the whole time. Like
Oh,
my mom had asked everyone maybe 3 times, like, "Are you gonna get the table ready?" Like, we're kind of close. Like, are you gonna get the table ready? Like, no one had anything ready. No one was on top of anything except for my mom.
that's very scary though.
Yes, it was scary, which again, that's why I'm so glad my mom was there because I think I would have had a very different story and
Yeah.
experience had she not been there. But they were checking me for the epidural after I was involuntarily pushing. And that's when they were like, "Oh, you're 10 centimeters. That's all head. We're pushing." And I was like, "Let's go." Like I didn't want I me personally not in labor did not want the epidural. So if you're telling me we're ready to push, like screw the epidural, we're pushing. Like
Yeah.
that it was a one or the other thing for me. Like I either wanted to push and get the baby out or I needed an epidural. So
How many people could you have in the room with you?
I believe I was allowed to. I don't know if they would have allowed more. I really wouldn't have wanted more.
Okay.
Like I wanted my husband and I wanted my mom. That was pretty much all I wanted in the room. And then there was my nurse and the midwife that delivered Josie. And I don't know. Actually, I want to say the baby nurse was also in there. So there were 2 nurses and a midwife, my mom and my husband. So there was a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, listening to you like chat and all that kind of stuff, I kind of feel like I would want three. Like I would want William, my husband, my mom, but then I want your knowledge in there.
I was just gonna say, I think I've earned myself a
I
spot.
know, yeah, but I cannot like obviously if there's only two, it's gonna be Will and mom, but like mom better
Right,
FaceTime you. Like
right.
I need some of your guidance in there because this does sound like the hospital team was not that helpful.
Yeah, like they were sort of doing their job. Like when I tell you my nurse came in and asked my mom to change out the paper roll for like they had monitoring for the heart rates
Hmm.
for mine and for babies. She gave my mom the new roll of paper and said, "Can you swap that out once it runs out?"
They weren't as on top of it because your mom was in the room.
But also, she's not a labor and delivery nurse anymore.
Yeah.
She's not on duty. She's not getting paid. Like, she's not an employee. If anything were to happen, like, it's your butt on the line.
Yeah,
Like, why would you give that to someone else, even if it is their mom?
exactly. Okay, brace yourself. If you
Don't
could
make
go
me cry.
back, listen, if you could go back and whisper one thing to yourself right before labor started, what would it be?
I would whisper and say, "You're not gonna need the epidural." Is this like a hindsight 2020 or like
Either thing. It could be like motivational or it could be a hindsight 2020 or whatever you're like. Whatever if you were scared of something that turned out okay.
I really don't think I was scared. I was excited that because like I said, I had convinced myself that I was going to go overdue because so many people that I had knew that were pregnant were going overdue. My best friend went overdue. My other friend, close friend, she went I think almost a week overdue. Like everyone that I knew first time mom was going overdue. So I was like, I'm fit, I'm healthy. I convinced myself I was going overdue because, like, why else would she have reason to want to leave my safe and comfortable and warm womb, you know?
Mhm.
So when I went into labor naturally, that was kind of like a breath of fresh air too, because I knew that I wouldn't have to schedule an induction. I knew that there was less of a risk for a C section, which I really did not want, just because of the whole like the
Cutting.
actual yeah, like 7 layers of skin, muscle, tissue, womb, like,
I hear you
no
can
thank you.
feel it. Like you can't feel the pain, but you can like feel what's happening.
Probably.
And that sounds
I'm
horrible.
sure it's pressure, if anything. So I truly did not wanna go that route, but knowing what I know now, I probably would have just told myself, like, it's going to go quicker than everyone thinks. My process truly was quicker. Like I said, when I was admitted, they thought I was going to be there for at least 12 hours because they were preparing me for the shift change in the morning.
Mhm.
So, had I known and had more of a belief that it wasn't going to be as long of a labor as what everyone else thought, I would just say, like, hold on, it's going to be quicker than you think. Like, just
Mhm.
breathe through it, practice everything that you've been preparing, get your comb out because I we bought those combs for me to like manage my pain.
Absolutely.
They stayed in the bag.
I
They're
told
still
you.
unopened.
I told you, get your comb out.
Yep.
Um,
Forgot about the comb.
do you want to talk about a little bit like the prep you did prior that you feel might have sped up or made your labor and delivery easier?
So I obviously can't prove anything that I did, but I would say the biggest thing for me, and I feel like a lot of humans just in general are this way, but I, I'll act like I'm the only one when I'm saying this. If I'm not educated about something, I feel very scared. I
Mhm.
feel very unknown. Everything's unpredictable. So the best thing I could have done for myself to go into this was to prepare, to learn, to educate and know my options, know the possibilities, know what's going to happen, the order things are going to go, how to, if it gets to the point where I'm overdue, things that I could do to potentially speed up labor, to just kind of manage pain. Everything that you could think of, I found this birth course. I think I had started listening to the podcast because once I found out I was pregnant, I was like, let's start learning.
Mhm.
So driving a lot, driving to coffee shops to work, I was just listening to podcasts as much as I could, educating myself. And that's when I learned that this woman had an Instagram, she had a birth course, and I had planned to purchase that like from the start because I was like, I know next to nothing. And yes, my mom's a labor and delivery nurse, but like it's been years since she's been in that space. It's been quite a long time since she went into labor and had a baby, since I'm her only child.
Yes.
So I knew that her experience, not that it wasn't valid, but it was outdated. So I wanted fresh, up to date stuff, know what hospitals were doing, and that's exactly what I did. So I learned everything that I possibly could. I got a book by Emily Oster from Amazon. It's called Expecting Better, and it's not biased in any way. She's a data scientist and she goes into like all of the things, like down to like cat litter. Like, can you have a cat and scoop cat litter when you're pregnant? Like, what are the actual risks with that? And she just went through that, through consuming alcohol while pregnant, while breastfeeding, those kinds of things. Um, and just presenting the evidence.
Are there any foods that because you hear all about like that raspberry leaf tea, and are there any foods that
Mhm.
you would recommend, especially because this is also your profession?
Mhm.
You do like pregnancy nutrition and things like that. Was there anything that you did that aspect that you feel like created a smoother labor and delivery?
One thing that I had just started, I swear, I think I drank raspberry leaf tea twice.
Mm,
I don't know. It was less than a handful of times. And I was like, dang, it really works.
yeah.
But I really don't know if like that's all that it was. I also had started eating dates, like
Okay.
again, a couple days. Like it wasn't anything crazy. So I really don't know if like she was truly just ready to come out or if it was just coincidence at all. Or maybe those things did help. But one thing I know, it did start me on a trend of really enjoying dates as a snack at the end of the day.
Nice. They are so good.
I've
Okay.
been eating them all week.
Final question about birth story that I have. Now that you've lived through it, how has it changed the way you see other moms or even life in general?
I think I have a lot more compassion.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's the right word to use, but like, you're out in public and like the kids screaming and you're like, I feel like I wasn't like this so much like in the last several years, but like sometimes you're like, ugh, like a kid screaming like way to ruin my day. But now, especially after seeing my drama queen of a child,
Mhm.
when she's unhappy, she will let everyone know.
Yes. And
And there's nothing I can do to make her stop in the drop of a hat.
I love that girl so much, but and I've heard other babies cry, she is the loudest baby I've ever heard in my life. It's
Mm-hmm.
so bad.
And
But
as she's on my chest, just popped out the womb,
yeah,
and the nurse is saying, like, you're supposed to like this. Like, what are you doing? I think before that, the very first thing she said was, she got a set of lungs.
yeah, she does. And like there's nothing more like stressful than in like and I've only done this like a few times with her, but nothing more stressful when you're in a public place and she is screaming, but you're the one holding her, trying to like comfort her, and she's screaming right in your ear, and oh my God. Yeah,
And
she's got
I
pipes on her.
I have sensitive ears, like weird fun facts. My ears are very sensitive. So like at times, like I can't handle the crying in my ear. I'm
Yes.
like, can anything to do to just bring it down 2 notches.
Yeah.
Anything.
Like
Um,
you can keep crying, just do it quieter, please.
yeah, like if you're uncomfortable, that's fine. I'm trying my best right now.
Yeah.
I'm going as fast as I can to figure
Yes.
this out. But I would say for like the moms that I see in public, it's like, especially when there's like grouches that are like eye rolling. Like, remember when we got on that plane and like the people behind us like rolled their eyes when they saw us getting in our seats? And it was like, I did not place myself here. I did not purchase these seats. Maybe you purchased those specific seats, but like, I don't care. This is public transportation. We are all citizens, and I have every right to be here, as does my daughter, as you do. Like, I feel like those people just need to like not be so grouchy. Cause like I see a mom in public and I'm like, I almost want to say, can I help you? Like,
Yeah.
what can I do to help you right now?
Yeah.
Because I get it.
Oh, the dirtiest, I shot those people the dirtiest freaking look. Because
And she was the biggest angel on
she
that flight
was.
too.
She was. And I and that is my drama queen little sassy girl because that had to have been out of spite. I remember I stood up from that
I hope
flight
it
and I
was.
smiled to these people. I said,
Hope you enjoyed your flight.
yeah, literally. Okay, so let's move on a little bit to post birth. Not too much on this. Let's like maybe do another podcast at some point about this, but let's do a brief overview of post birth, the first couple days, and then do you want to talk about like starting solids and foods and maybe some unconventional things that you did as a mother?
Yes, I would have honestly probably not the best, but I want to like breeze over like the newly postpartum part, and then like I really love the starting solids thing, so I don't want to go like way too long, but I do want to talk about the solid stuff because that was just fun, and I do feel like that's something that I did that is kind of up and coming trendy-ish,
Mhm.
but things that parents and mothers especially are still kind of like scared about. So maybe offering some encouragement around that. But postpartum, early postpartum, and I know some people, and even at times, like my mother-in-law is great. Like we get along. She knows she's kind of cuckoo crazy and can be a bit much, but like we're both aware of that. And like sometimes I need that. Sometimes I need her to be like crazy and like over caring and over compassionate and over like helpful. Other times I'm like, chill out. But I will say she was able to, and she kind of like told her job, she was like, when my daughter-in-law goes into labor, like I'm leaving. And mind you, she lives 3.5 hours away. She lives in Ocean City, Maryland. So she said to her bosses, like, as soon as my daughter-in-law goes into labor, I'm leaving. So when she learned that I went into labor, like she called, and she, I think, was at the hospital probably 7 a.m., like the day Josie was born. She was in my labor delivery room, not even my like postpartum baby room, because
Yeah.
I had to switch rooms. So she was there very early. And she also took that entire week off, which at first I was like, I don't want anyone in the house. Like, I
Yeah.
just want it to be us. But hindsight being 2020, like, I was so glad that she was able to be there. Not that my husband would not have been capable of it, but it was just nice to have an extra set of hands, whether it was to get me water, to get me food, to hold the baby while I took a shower. Like, it was so nice to have an extra set of hands doing the dishes, cleaning up, like those kinds of things. Like, you do think about it, but I feel like if you don't do anything to plan for that, like that's when postpartum depression can kind of kick in, or just feelings of overwhelm come in when your living environment becomes chaotic and messy.
Mhm.
So I loved that she was there and able to help out with that. And I will say, like, I wish I would have, and I led into this a little bit with my solo podcast. I wish I would have slowed down a bit because I really didn't. 2 days postpartum, I was hosting my friends over for chili and cornbread because I felt great.
Yeah.
So I do wish I would have allowed there to be more like catering, like I just sit on my butt and not do a darn thing. But with how everything panned out, like I'm glad she was there for that first week. Like that was a big help. And then after that, your mom, my mom, like everyone is coming to visit, not just to help me, but obviously to see baby. But if they were there, like they would obviously offer to help with things, and I took them up on it. I needed to.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, Talk about your recovery just a smidge because I have so many clients that I literally had one in my chair yesterday that she was telling me the difference between her first, where she had an epidural, versus her second and third, where she did not. The recovery was vastly, vastly different. So speak about your recovery for just like a smidge.
Yeah, and obviously I can't speak from the epidural standpoint because I never went that route, but I knew that there were differences with that. And as someone who was very active, is very active, I didn't want to be limited, especially physically. And I knew having an epidural, there were physical limitations post birth. So with my non epidural, only IV pain medication medicated birth, I wasn't limited at all. Like, I'm pretty sure I gave birth and I was up walking around like within the first 2 hours. Because
Yeah.
I know, like, I had to pee. I got up and I peed, and my nurse showed me how to like layer my, it was practically like a diaper.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was getting transferred to my like post, I guess, labor mom and baby room, I guess is what they call it. And I was getting transferred to that room. My nurse looked at me and she goes, "Look at you. My belly's bigger than that."
Oh,
And I just went, "Oh."
oh, what a
Like, what
weird
do you
thing to
say to
say.
that? So, like, this is a side note, but like, I don't feel like I got very big in my pregnancy. I will be curious to see second time around because my body will obviously like know things, and they usually say that you start showing sooner with your second pregnancy, but like I really don't feel like I showed until maybe like 20-ish weeks. Like maybe even 25.
Even at 25, I remember you like made a comment to me and something about like, I think I asked if you were showing, or someone asked if you were showing, and I just like repeated back to what you always said to me. You're like, I just look like I really have to pee.
Yeah.
Like, that's how much your stomach was, which, granted, you're so fit and so like, obviously, flat stomach
Yeah.
prior, all that kind of stuff. Now, like, you know what I mean? You've always just been like flat stomach. So, like, you were like, I just look like I have to pee. Like, this is what I look like when I have to pee. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
aren't you just the luckiest ducky in the pond? Like,
And I think being, not that I'm like super petite, but like you said, like before I was flat stomach, like only time I really had like a belly was like when I have to pee.
Mhm.
And like I worried when I got pregnant that like I would show so fast. And like that just wasn't the case. And I think it's because like I have muscle, like my abdominal wall was kind of like, it was just kind of holding everything in. And I feel like a lot of people that don't work out, that don't have a stronger core, like their abdominals just kind of let loose, you know?
Yeah.
And what I noticed a lot is like, I feel like when we were girls, like we would always try to like suck in. And
Mhm.
I feel like the people that start showing super early are like those girls that always had to suck in, but now they kind of give themselves the permission to like let go.
Mhm.
And then that seems like they're showing so much earlier, but it's like they probably did look similar to what they look like now. It's just they're kind of like allowing themselves to not have to hold in all the time, you know?
Yeah.
And that's something that, I mean, if I had never started my health journey, like I absolutely would have been that girl.
Yeah.
But it just, 25 weeks. I swear I went to Nashville for one of my work conferences and I came back and Tristan goes, "You came back pregnant. What's happening?" Like I looked pregnant in the 4 days that I had left home and come back. It was
Yeah,
kind of funny.
definitely. Well, it's so funny because when you told the family, obviously you didn't look pregnant at all.
No.
And I just want to share a quick little fun little story from when you did tell the family. So she just came back from a work trip in Florida and she went to Disney while she was there. Or she went to like a Disney store while she was there. I think you went to
I went
downtown
to Disney
Disney. Yeah,
Springs.
Disney Springs. Um, and and she brought a present home for us. And I was like, okay, it's strange. And then she gave it to like mom to open and it was a onesie. And when mom was super excited, and so I kind of matched the energy, I said, oh my God, so exciting. In my mind, I don't know why my mind went here. Like my mind was just not on the fact that Kaylin could ever be pregnant. I thought the onesie was to put on our dog. And I said that. And then we put it on the dog and it fit perfectly. Like it made sense where my mind was. But you can see in the video that Tristan, her husband, took, you could see me like realize, like, oh my God, she's pregnant. That's not for the dog. So,
And meanwhile, I mean, mom got it immediately.
yeah,
Dad, he was like, because I think he also thought it was for the dog.
we really love that dog. So, it was very much a shock. I really thought it was for the dog. I really did. But
She wore it well.
she wore it well. We put it on her. It was super fun. And then I think Josie wore it then at some point.
I think what's really cool. So the smallest size they had was like a 6 month or something. And
Mhm.
like, since our girl's petite, like she was able to wear that the year, like anniversary from when I had told you guys with the onesie, like in
That.
that April, she
Hmm.
was able to wear that, which was kind of cool.
Love that. Now, let's get into starting solids. This is kind of going to be a longer episode, but there's just so much to talk about, so much life experience to talk about. But let's start with solids because you actually do something that I swear is kind of unheard of. Is Josie eats exactly what you eat and always has. It was never any baby food, never any puree. Now, granted, we mashed up what she would have at the beginning, but it was still solid pieces. Um, my question to you is, did you try the butter thing?
Did not try the butter thing.
You
I
have to
thought about it
try.
this morning.
You have to try the butter thing. I had my client yesterday tell me she swears by it. And she also feeds her kids the same way you do.
I will try it tonight. I
Listen.
need to set butter out so it's soft so I can put it on.
So the butter thing is I saw it on TikTok is you put like you dip like a binky or like something like that in butter and put it in their mouth for them to sleep and they're supposed to sleep so much better. I don't know if it has to do with like um the satial of like having like a heavy fat like right before bed or if it's just like filling for their tummies and then they're like, you know what I mean? I don't know what it is, but I'm seeing it everywhere and everyone is swearing by it. So you have to go and try it. But with that being said, that is how Kaylin kind of feeds Josie is like it would be it's not unheard of to put some butter in her mouth while she's going to sleep. So go
Like,
ahead
I
and
wonder if I would just give her like half of an avocado before bed, if that would have the same benefit.
what is your fear with this butter?
And nothing, it's just like I wouldn't just eat a mouthful of butter, you know?
She might. It might be delish.
It might be delish. I'll try it. I'll try
Honestly,
it.
you gotta try everything once. But unless it's like
Yes,
you can't, no, don't try everything once. Just kidding.
most things.
Try most things once. Horrible, horrible news to
Use
be
your own
spreading.
use your personal judgment on things that just don't sit right in your gut.
Exactly. Like, but I feel like the butter will sit right. So, anyways, go ahead and tell the people why you chose to feed your daughter the way you did and the science behind it, your background with it, and how it has worked out.
So, instead of feeding my daughter the jarred baby purees, just because, and again, kind of going back to the vaccine talk.
Let me make a statement really quick. I just want to say that Kaylin also breastfed this whole time. Um,
Yes,
just want to put that out there. It was never any formula. Not that we look down upon formula in women who cannot breastfeed, but we will talk about formula in a different episode for sure, but
correct. And I feel like for that kind of like disclaimer, like we're not coming out for mothers that do give their children formula. It's like formula is there for a reason. If you are not able to breastfeed or, can't for some reason, whether it's like your own health, like I get it. So
yes.
not coming after anyone at all whatsoever. And like I talked about in our last episode, like I'm grateful and blessed that I have been able to breastfeed. I was able to exclusively breastfeed the first 6 months. I did not start any solids until the day she turned 6 months. And that's just kind of like what our journey has been.
Just
I,
just saying with formula, if you are going to use formula, please, please, please do your research into the different types of formula, what the ingredients are in formula, and your other alternatives besides formula. But we'll talk about that in another episode. Just a disclaimer.
yes. Yes, and I think that really sparked my interest. So, as I've probably talked about before, I love educating myself.
Mhm.
So, when I got pregnant and I learned like that's actually who I want to help with my business is not just women, not just people that want to lose weight, but women who want to bear children, that want to feel prepared, that want to take care of their bodies so that they don't have a negative experience on the other end. I was like, I need to educate myself more. So I had found it was like a full encompassing educational, it's pretty much like going back to school. Like I had to apply to get in. It's baby nutrition, it's postpartum nutrition, it's pregnancy nutrition, and it's fertility nutrition, which if you know anything about me, I love nutrition. Nutrition is my jam. So, all of those different stages of life to learn about the nutritional needs, like I was pumped. So, got accepted, and I actually chose it's supposed to go fertility, pregnancy, postpartum, baby. But you can actually do it reverse. And the time that I was starting with the solids for the baby nutrition was going to be most beneficial for my life because I'm someone who likes to go from like A to Z with things. But in this one case scenario, I was like, it makes so much more sense for me to go Z to A just so I can apply the things that I'm learning to my actual life while my child is starting solids. So I started with the baby nutrition and it teaches both ways. It teaches starting with the purees, with making your own purees, the benefits of not buying store made and like processed purees and just things to look out for with those. But then it also heavily talks about the benefits of starting your children on just solid foods, the ways to do that safely, the ways to, change as they grow, as their stomachs change, as their just even throat size changes. Like they're more able to learn the skill. Like we don't think about eating as a skill, but it really is. Maneuvering food, chewing that, swallowing that. Those are all skills that babies need to learn because all they know is liquid breast milk or formula. So I had a friend, she's actually my assistant in my business. She had her son in January, and then I got pregnant February, Marchish, had Josie in November. But when she started her son with eating foods and like real food, so to say, she just did what's called baby led weaning. And I was like, that's really interesting. Never heard of that. Like, sounds like something that would be right up my alley. And she comes from a background too, like her mom, when they were kids, like they didn't go to the doctor, they didn't go to the hospital. Like it was very holistic healing. Like if we can't fix it at home, like go get some fresh air kind of thing. Like they did not go to the doctor. So that was her background. And she had found this method. And I was like, get with that. So I started doing my own research and then I ended up doing this certification. And that's when I was like, okay, like this is what we're doing. And I remember telling like our mom, my mom, and I would say your mom more so was like, are you sure about that? Like, you're not going to give her baby food? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's how you feed a baby.
You know,
That's what we've always done.
she's our opinionated queen.
Yes, and like I don't think she ever gave me pushback on it. I think more
No.
so because she watches Josie twice a week. Like she was worried about when she's on her time and her clock.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I think for that, like that is kind of a barrier depending on what your situation looks like when your child's starting solids around 6, 7 months. And I will say, let me back up because me being the educator and the one that like has to know all of the things, like there are certain check boxes for your child to meet to show that they are ready for solids. It's not just like they hit the 6 month mark and they're boom, all of a sudden ready. They have to be able to sit up on their own. They have to be able to turn their head to say, like, no, I'm good, like I'm full, those kinds of things. Like there are requirements that your child, that's not all of them, there are requirements that your child has to meet in order to show their readiness for solids. And those things aren't just to be like, oh, you have to wait until then and just like kind of like a reason to make you wait. Like it's developmental, it's their gut, it's their body's ability to break these foods down. And that's what these readiness indicators are showing, that their body is ready. So that's why the 6 month mark, it's very general. Some kids are ready earlier, some kids are ready later. Nothing to be concerned about, but 6 months is just a general time frame. But with Josie, like I saw all of these like first, not first, half birthday cakes. And I was like, I'm not giving my child like cake on her first day of eating food. But what I
No.
will do is cut a watermelon in half and cut the rind off and let her gnaw on it. And she absolutely loved it. We had a little birthday, half birthday party for her. We had dinner. We got together as a family. And that really started her solid food journey. She started with avocados. She hated banana, but now she loves banana. So, like, there are so many foods that you'll find with your kids if that's the route that you go. Like, they might not like the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or 13th time, but that 14th time, they might enjoy it.
Mhm.
And it's really just been a journey. I had talked about in the last episode, like, I didn't want to do just 100 foods before she turned one. I said, let's shoot for 200. And I think that was a lot of fun because I don't even know if I say this jokingly, I don't even know if I've had 200 foods yet, but obviously I have. But there were some foods that, I was just kind of running out of ideas with, where I went shopping at Wegmans where I don't typically shop just because they have different options of food. So we were buying fruit that I've never had before. We were trying different cheeses that I've never had before, like vegetables, things that were just like abnormal. It made shopping fun. Obviously, our bill went up a little bit because I'm like, oh, I need to buy sun dried tomatoes. I need to buy pesto. I need to buy an entire thing of cashew butter and almond butter and tahini and like all of these things that like you buy it all to have like a few times just to like test an allergy, and then like it kind of sits there because you don't typically eat it anyway.
Mhm.
But it was just a lot of fun, and I think it was just something for us to strive for and accomplish. Not that I'm like super competitive. I mean, I think we all love a competition now and then, but having like that countdown, that time frame of like gotta do it in 6 months, like 200 foods in 6 months seems a little crazy, but you put yourself in the right atmosphere and environments and you'll hit that.
Mm. Now, were you scared about allergies?
I wasn't, because my husband and I both don't have any allergies. And as far as blood family goes, no allergies. Only thing he's allergic to is like penicillin, which I think mold would be the only thing we would be concerned about, which I'm not going to intentionally feed my child mold.
Mhm.
So I really wasn't concerned about any allergies. The one allergy, and I'm not going to rattle them all off. There are 9 allergies. Obviously, we've got tree nuts. We've got, I can't remember if, I think peanuts are their own allergy. So tree nuts, peanuts, cow's milk, um,
Eggs, soy,
eggs, soy, sesame is one as well,
shellfish.
and shellfish. And there's 2 different types of shellfish, so
Mhm.
they're kind of categorized in one. And I always forget like the last two. So I'm not going to go through all 9 if I can't think of them off the top of my head. But the only one that I've given her so far that I'm like kind of concerned about is crab. And I just don't know if they were not good coincidental times to try them. So, for instance, the first time I gave her crab, we were at a restaurant and we were in Maryland, like blue crabs. You cannot go wrong with like fresh blue crabs. And we were very hungry, and Josie was like wolfing down some shrimp, which she had had before. She was fine with shrimp. She was wolfing it down beforehand, and then the crab came, and then I gave her crab. And then I don't know what happened. I don't know if she got some stuck in her throat, but whatever happened, she looked at me and like she just had like almost like her eyes were saying like help me.
Mm.
And it was the weirdest thing. Her eyes started like watering, her face turned a little red, and I was like, is she like choking right now? Like, we're in public. This is not happening.
Yeah.
And I like patted her back and she started like vomiting up all of the crab, all of the shrimp, and it was just that like they were the solid pieces in like clear spit. It was the weirdest thing.
Okay.
So I don't know what happened there. Obviously freaked me out. I was like, okay, no more crab today. We're done with crab.
Yeah.
And then the next time I gave her crab, she spit it out and like did not want it. So I don't know if it's a texture thing. I don't know if her body like just rejects it.
Okay.
That's the one thing I'm like scared to introduce again, but almonds, peanuts, I don't know. We've done cashews. We've done all of the things. We've done tahini that has sesame. Um, she's had dairy like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, those kinds of things. She's had kefir, but not like straight cow's milk unless it was like baked in something. But she's had pretty much everything, which is pretty cool.
I because I ask because I often see these moms, which I believe I will be one of these moms, where they drive to the hospital parking lot and give their baby like a spoonful of like almond butter or something like that, just so that way they're there and it can be handled right away, which I will obviously do that because I have a nut allergy. And I know how it affects me. I couldn't even imagine how it affects a little baby. But I have to tell you, my husband really messes this up because now he's allergic to just random crap that I'm like, I'm gonna have to sit in this hospital parking lot for like everything.
Everything.
Yeah. He's just like randomly allergic to different fruits, which I love fruit, but I'm gonna be nervous.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because we didn't find out I was allergic to nuts until I was probably about 4 years old. And that was the first time I had a tree nut in my life at 4. So
And I think
that's,
that's the craziest thing, because we had always tried to figure out, because no one in your like blood family has nut allergies, any allergies.
mm-mm.
So it's always been like this anomaly as to like why you did. And I can't imagine that your parents were fed any differently. But from what I'm learning in this, or what I've learned in this certification, is like the earlier you can introduce foods, introduce solid foods, introduce a wide variety of textures, flavors, those kinds of things, especially the allergens, the less likely you are to have an allergy show up later. And the only explanation I could have for you is that you weren't introduced to these allergens until you were 4. Like, that's the only thing that could make sense.
I would agree with that to a point because I think there was like my mom, that wasn't really a thing when we were younger, is like 100 foods under one. So I think I should be allergic to a lot more things because there are some things like that I've just had for the first time at 25 years old that you would think with that logic I would be allergic to it. But I think, and this is my delusion talking, I think I can heal this. A lot of times allergies, specifically seasonal allergies, are a gut health problem. I need to work up the courage to try nuts again since my gut health has drastically improved. I do feel as if
Mhm.
I can heal myself. But on the other side, some allergies have been linked to other factors in life. And if that's the case, then I cannot heal it. But if it's a gut health problem, I kind of feel like I can heal it. So stay tuned. We'll talk about that another time. But I think I'm going to be the mom that sits in the hospital parking lot though, just in case, because I have bad reactions to nuts for sure.
I don't blame you for wanting to sit in the hospital parking lot because, like, especially depending on where you live. Like, for us, we live 25 minutes from a hospital. So the amount of time between getting to a hospital, even if it were to like have a 911 call and for them to respond to you, like that is a lot of time for a lot of reaction to happen, and you don't know how severe and how quickly that'll happen. So I get it. I probably would do the same if I were you.
I know. I know. So I feel like for mothers though that are concerned, I will be doing feeding my child the exact same way Kaylin has fed her child, and I will be introducing all of the allergens. I don't think it's my mom's fault, but it would be funny to blame it on her. Um, but but I will be doing the exact same thing. I just think there's different ways you can do it rather than sitting at home. I might be in the hospital parking lot, so we'll see.
Yeah. And I think the coolest thing, not that it's like I need to find reason to strike up a conversation with someone, but the amount of conversations I've been able to have with people, especially like grandparent age, people in their 50s with kids that are our age having kids, like that are just it's so foreign to them. Like, specifically our cousin's like mother-in-law at their baby shower, she was just so infatuated, fascinated by Josie eating solid foods at like 8.5 months. She was like, "What?" And I'm like, yeah, I don't give her baby foods. And she was just asking so many questions. And like the opportunity to educate people on that is just, it's fun. Not only because it's like so fascinating, but because it's so much better and so much more nourishing for our babies to get the nutrients from the food itself rather than going through high heat and processing and syrups and added sugars and this and that and the other thing, and just things that can cause complications. They try to fortify baby food to give them iron because iron is a huge need of babies around 6 months. Their stores have been depleted from utero, from their umbilical cord around 6 months. So, iron is something that is very important to include in a baby's diet. So, Big Food is aware of that and they try to make it a positive thing by fortifying these foods with iron. But when you're fortifying it with chemical lab made iron, typically it can cause constipation and other issues.
My gut.
So, getting in the gut. And that's why, having red meats, having leafy greens like spinach, like foods that are natural, that are able to be consumed by our babies, that are going to get just a straight iron source, is a lot more beneficial for their gut health and their overall nutrition.
Absolutely. And I think too, it becomes interesting for adults, not so much you, not so much me, but like I see these people who, one, right when they get pregnant, start changing the way they're eating because they're like, oh, I'm feeding a baby this now. And, or when their baby starts eating food, they feed their baby nothing but like fruits and veggies and all this good stuff. But my thing is with it, why would you not feed yourself that
Yep.
in general?
And I think I will say what I've learned, like when it's like, okay, what kind of families do you recommend this baby led weaning versus spoon led weaning, which is like the parent led? Um, some indicators that baby led weaning might be for your family is if you're already eating those healthy meals, those whole foods, the meats, the grains, the vegetables, the fruits, the fiber, those kinds of things, which I would absolutely say we check all the boxes for that. But also, we have to think like it simplifies your life when you're already eating that way. Like,
Absolutely.
just plain and simple. I mean, I don't even know if that requires any elaboration. Like, if you're eating healthy foods that are nourishing to your body and that's what you're eating or you're feeding your baby, there's no extra steps. There's no extra bandwidth that you need to put into this mentally. Like, you make dinner, you prepare it for your child in a way that they can eat it too. Boom, done. No extra thought.
Now, my question to you is what has introducing solid, nutritious foods to Josie done to your milk supply and how much she breastfeeds and things like that?
So when we started solids, it was one meal a day. So we did breakfast because that's what was most consistent for us with our routine is we always sit down together and eat. I mean, we always eat dinner as a family too, but breakfast is just like my favorite meal of the day. So that's what we started her with.
Okay.
And then the rest was just breast milk, feeding after after she woke up from naps, like all of that stayed the same. Now, as she got older, and I will say, I think I introduced her to more solid foods quicker than maybe what is recommended typically, and maybe than what parents might be comfortable with. So I think around 8 months, I had started her with 2 meals a day. And then around 9 months, I had kind of introduced the third meal a day. And she's been eating 3 meals plus breast milk since then. But what I've found with, her getting older, having more solid foods, having less of a need for the calories from breast milk, and just kind of being awake for longer periods of time. So she's not having like those as frequent nap wake up feedings. Um, my supply has greatly gone down at this point because she just doesn't need it as much. So when I was pumping earlier in the days, like I would get 3 to 4 ounces combined. I'm a just enough, or I'm not anything fancy and over the top. So I would get about 3 to 4 ounces in the morning was always more my larger pump as the day went on. It was closer to the 3 ounces. I would typically pump like 3 times a day when she wasn't with me. So I'd get maybe like 8 to 9, sometimes 10 ounces when I would pump. Now, and granted, she was with me most of the day yesterday, but I pumped once while she was away. I think, meaning picture up maybe around 10. I went back to get her maybe 3:30. So it really wasn't that long. I had pumped once around like 12:30 maybe, and I got 2.2 ounces.
My question is let me know if you know the science behind this or not. How does your body know what she needs? You are no longer connected. How does it know?
What I've read, what I've heard, what I've learned is that through her saliva on my nipple, there's kind of like a reverse, like her saliva sends the messenger pretty much to my body
That's
to tell it
crazy.
what she needs.
That's so crazy.
And that's for like the nutrients part. So I should probably go back a little bit. Like the breast milk itself, like our female bodies depending on like what the mineral is or the vitamin is, like calcium for instance, like there is a set amount, like your milk always has this much calcium. It doesn't matter where it's pulling it from. If you're not getting it in your diet, it's pulling it from your bones. Doesn't matter, baby's getting it. Period, end of story. So there are some nutrients like that in your breast milk that just stay the same throughout the entire journey. So like the amount of calcium in my breast milk now is the same as what it was 6 months ago because that's what she needs. Now as far as quantity, that's more of like a supply and demand, as if it were a supply chain.
Okay.
Like if she's not eating as much, my body doesn't make as much. And I think that's really neat too. Cause
I
like, could
say,
you imagine if my body made as much milk as it did when she was 3 months old and now she's only eating maybe half the amount of times throughout the day? Like I would be engorged all the time.
well, that's so crazy, so interesting. My question is, because there's a lot of moms who have babies close together that tandem nurse. Then
Yeah.
how does your body know? Because that's two different salivas and like it just knows.
I think it just tailors to both of them at that point. Like,
That's
how
crazy.
else would it? The moms that tandem feed with multiple children, I give it to them.
Yeah.
Like I obviously I love Josie so much. I don't think I could love her more.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to give her the best and just set her up because I know I've even learned that, breastfeeding for at least the first year, like that can set them up metabolically for life. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not just right now that this is affecting her, like this can set her up for a healthy life that I'm able to do this. Um so now that we're nearing the year mark, I am so ready to be like,
Done.
Josie, I'm done.
Yeah.
And it's not for any specific reason other than like, I just don't think she needs it anymore. Like, she's got
No.
her solid foods, she's full with that. Like, it's more of a comfort for her, I think, and just more of bonding, which of course I'll do whatever she wants to do that. But I've found since when we were on vacation, we co-slept every night. Like she wasn't starting in a crib like she normally does at home. But like after coming home from that, and then she slept with us the night we came back as well. She slept with us the night before we went. And like she had been using me as a human pacifier overnight. And it's like, girlfriend, I would like to sleep as well.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting back out of the habit with that because it was like a week of that. And now we're back to like the home routine and everything. But there's just things, especially like at night, like I do love cuddling with her. It's the best thing in the world. But also like if you could sleep in your crib and not need my boob every night, I would be happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. Like it definitely, I think that's the hard part about her growing up is it does come like a point where like she does need to take those steps, but she needs what she needs at the moment she needs it.
And I'm also not going to force her one way or another. So like I say that I'm done, but like if she's not done, I'm not going to be done.
Yeah.
So if she still is showing interest, is showing signs like pulling at my shirt and my body's still making it, like I will give that to her. It's part of our nighttime routine right now. Like it's going to be, that's fine.
Mhm.
But like if she's not ready to be done, I'm not going to force her to be done. Like I don't want it to be stressful. I want it to be like she realizes she's done and it's like, okay, mom, we're good.
We're good. Yeah.
Which is like bittersweet because I've seen since introducing those three solid meals, like she's definitely got less interest, especially in like bottles. Like when she's with Mimi, she's just like, okay. So we found that, sippy cup, she's more interested in sippy cup. So we'll put her milk in the sippy cup rather than a bottle, and that helps her when she's not with me. But it's definitely, I think the way that we're doing it is a more natural kind of transition to weaning in a way. Like not that I'm looking to actively do that, but I think it's just naturally happening with the process that we've had.
Now, after 1 year is when you can start giving her cow's milk. Do you think is that generally a lot of times when babies cut off after they have had cow's milk?
They can. Sometimes parents use cow's milk as like a replacement.
Okay.
Just because obviously it's milk. I think babies can tell the difference. I'm not gonna say it's like a complete like, oh, you got me.
Mm-hmm.
But I've even seen, and I don't know if I'll play with this at all, but like some people say that babies don't need milk. Like it's just something that people do. And yes, it's a great source of vitamin D, but also like I still supplement her with vitamin D. I probably will because I take a vitamin D supplement every day too. Like I don't see any reason to stop supplementing her vitamin D with that. So, will I continue to give her milk? Will I start with cow's milk? I don't know. I haven't made that decision yet because I haven't had to, but I think it's interesting and maybe against the grain to even not give her bottles of milk.
Give it a go. See, I love milk. I'm a big milk gal.
Yes.
So I would probably give my kids milk. I would be interested to see and or experiment with goat's milk. I'm gonna lose everyone. But
You've lost Tristan a long time ago with the
I
goat
know,
milk.
I know. But with the goat's milk, so for those that don't know, a good swap out for breast milk if you cannot breastfeed instead of going to formula is goat's milk because it is almost like genetically, it is the next genetically similar animal to like humans
Hmm.
with nutrients and things like that. So a lot of times women will do goat's milk instead of breast milk and not formula, and the baby's still getting nutrients and everything. I
Which
would
is
be,
crazy to me.
it's very crazy. That's why I say do your research before you just
Yes.
say, I have to do formula. And if you want to do formula, be my guest. I'd say also just do your research on ingredients and formula, but I would be interested to see what introducing goat's milk before cow's milk would do and if that would like wean her off because she's still getting the nutrients and like I don't know.
I've never
The
had goat's milk.
well, the goat's milk thing really, really intrigues me. And it probably does not taste the best, but it probably has a similar taste profile to breast milk because breast milk has that little bit of a soury bit to it as well. And like I've heard
Breast
goat's
milk,
milk does.
truthfully,
Speak
I
to
know some
me.
people do this. I haven't ever tasted my breast milk.
Kaylin, you gotta
But
taste it.
what I hear is that it's kind of sweet. It's like that's babies are they're led to sweet things because breast milk is sweet and like that's what they've been exposed to. But yeah, I've never tasted my breast milk.
And here's the thing. And we're gonna do it next episode for everyone. Live taste test.
Oh my gosh. I feel pressured
Live taste test next episode. Everyone tune in
on YouTube. Oh my
on
gosh.
YouTube. Live taste test. Why
I
not?
do have like a 1.3 ounce bag in the freezer. Maybe I'll break it out. Oh
There you
my
go.
gosh.
Get
I
it?
don't know. Like, I'm making a disgusting face, but like, I think it's just a weird concept to drink a liquid that's come out of my body.
I feel like it's the same vibe, and maybe like people don't do this, but like if you get a cut on your hand and you're like, oh, and you like go to like suck on it to like,
Never vampired myself.
oh. On that note, let's wrap it up, or what's the vibes?
I think on that note, we're done.
Okay. Weird.
Weird. What an odd thing to say.
You've never done that? Everyone does that.
I don't.
Okay. Maybe you're the weird one. I thought everyone did that.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna wrap it up though.
Wrap it. Listen, we gotta go. This was a very long episode, but I think it was very educational, inspiring. I think we should do more talks about nutrition. I really want to start getting into nutrition a lot more in this podcast. I feel like we've laid a bunch of groundwork of routines and ways to get into a healthy lifestyle where now we can show you what to do within a healthy lifestyle, what nutrition really is and where what you can be doing and how it looks different for everybody.
Yeah, I agree because nutrition's my jam.
Well, I'm a crazy person. So as soon as we
Yeah,
get into food
we're gonna have to
labeling,
like tame it down though. Like
I
I feel like
know.
because I've just had to get in the mindset of like speaking to the people in their language, I'm like, we have to act like we know nothing about all of this. And you're like, but this is what I've learned. Let's dive into the weeds. And I'm like, they're not there. The people are not in the weeds.
Well, maybe we can bring the people to the weeds
Into the weeds.
slowly. So for instance, I listen to a lot of podcasts that are pretty in depth, and it did take me a while to get to that point, but we are like what, almost 15 episodes in. So we've gone in a decent amount. I feel like we can start to get, and I think that's when my eyes really truly started to open, is when people started to talk about like what's actually in our foods and what it's doing to us. Um, so I would love to start diving into that, but we can keep it surface level at first and then we could go deep into it, which I cannot wait.
Yeah, if anything, with those types of episodes, I think it's more of like an awareness thing.
Hmm.
Like when you are aware of it, not like a fear thing. It's not like, oh my God, it has this, avoid it. It's okay, this is what I know. This is what is here. What decision do I want to make for myself, knowing this information?
Yes. And
Which
I
is a
think,
lot different. Because, like, I know there's shit in everything that I was eating last week. Not everything. Like, I still feel like I did well, but like you're on the go and you're like, I know that this is not good for me. But it's either that or not eating at all. And it's like, what decision do you make at that point?
but you
And
have to know how to read your food labels, because where the scary part comes into play is you could think it's good for you because of the way it is marketed. So I think
absolutely.
that's what we'll dive into a little bit of, like, how to actually read a food label and decipher if it is a healthy choice for you or not. And what you do with that from that point is your decision. But at least you have the knowledge of
Absolutely.
it.
Yep. And with that, catch us in our next episode because I think that's what we're going to be talking about. And apparently, I'll be doing a live breast milk taste test.
Yay! I love it.
Thank you for listening to the Sis Let's Heal podcast.
Actually, you know what we'll do? You do a live breast milk taste test, and I'll see. And I might not be able to find it. I'll let everyone know. I'll see if I can find goat's milk.
Okay, I was going to say it'd be really funny if you're like, and I'm going to try an almond.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
How scary would that be?
I'm pushing myself too far for the podcast.
Podcast, maybe do it.
No,
Sitting in
literally.
the ER. Why did you do this?
No, literally. Podcast live from the ER. No, I'll see if I can find goat's milk or some sort of, not goat cheese. I've had goat cheese, but maybe some sort of like goat milk product, and I'll give it a go.
Deal.
Yeah.